CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
The White House once again in turmoil. Two men whose jobs are on the line. One trying to get on the Supreme Court as more accusations of sexual misconduct surface.
And the Deputy Attorney General reportedly thought that this would be his last day following last week's scathing New York Times report, but he's still on the job, at least for now.
But first, the battle over Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. A third woman may tell her story.
Yeah, this coming from the man representing the porn star who said that she had an affair with the president. We have team coverage tonight, including CBS2's political reporter Dave Bryan with the latest out of Washington, D.C.
But we begin with CBS2's Dave Lopez. He is live at Downtown L.A. where the Stormy Daniels case was in court this afternoon. Dave.
Well, the Stormy Daniels case took backstage today. She lost in a motion that she cannot sue the president for defamation, but that took the back page. What happened was when her attorney came out and said that he is now representing a third woman who alleges that she was sexually involved with Judge Kavanaugh when they were back in high school, and that she has quite a story to tell. She will not reveal that story or her name until about 24 to 40 hours from now. And now, as you mentioned, there are three. First, Dr. Ford, who alleges that her misconduct sexually involved Brett Kavanaugh when they were in high school in the 80s. Then last night it was Deborah Ramirez, who said that her encounter with the Supreme Court nominee happened when they were at Yale as students. And now, woman number 3 comes forward.
She is 100% credible, and when the American people hear from her, they will determine, as I have, that she is to be believed.
Michael Avenatti, the attorney for Stormy Daniels, says he has a new client, a third woman who will allege sexual misconduct against Brett Kavanaugh, the U.S. Supreme Court nominee, that she will appear on a national broadcast within 24 to 48 hours and will tell her story, a story of things that happened while she knew Kavanaugh, while the two were in high school in the 1980s.
The facts and circumstances about what she experienced and what she witnessed, I'm confident that people are going to find those credible. I'm confident that those facts and circumstances are going to be disqualifying for Brett Kavanaugh. And I will also say this. This is a woman who passed multiple security clearances administered by the U.S. government.
Avenatti said she once worked for the U.S. Mint, for the U.S. Justice Department, and he claims her background, her credentials, impeccable.
She's held a public trust security clearance. She's also held a secret security clearance. So to the individuals on the committee, like Mr. Grassley, to Donald Trump, and to his surrogates, I say this: you better be very, very careful before you come after my client and call her a liar or engage in some of the other despicable conduct that you've engaged in relating to Dr. Ford over the last 4 to 5 days. I do not traffic in rumor and nonsense. I traffic in facts and evidence.
Asked if his client will be willing to go to Washington and testify, he said that's the plan. As soon as she identifies herself and makes herself public within the next 24 to 48 hours. No comment from the White House yet in regarding to woman number 3, and no comment yet from Judge Kavanaugh regarding woman number 3. Reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Dave Lopez, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Dave, thank you. Well, Kavanaugh has come out fighting today against those new accusations of sexual misconduct.
This as the men and women who will decide whether to put him on the high court wage war.
CBS2 political reporter Dave Bryan is here now with what Kavanaugh just said in a television interview. Dave?
He's making history. Some of the researchers said they went back and looked through the books. They say in 100 years they haven't seen a nominee for the Supreme Court talk to the media like this before being confirmed. Judge Kavanaugh is not waiting until Thursday to defend himself against growing accusations about his past. Just an hour ago, with his wife by his side, he told Fox News he never committed those acts of sexual misconduct and, quote, I will not be intimidated.
You have categorically denied that this happened. Did anything happen?
No, I've never sexually assaulted anyone, not in high school, not ever. I've always treated women with dignity and respect. I'm not going to let false accusations drive me out of this process. I have faith in God, and I have faith in the fairness of the American people. America is about fairness and hearing from both sides. And I didn't do this or anything resembling this. This is wrong.
Now, Kavanaugh repeatedly said all he wants is a fair process and a chance to clear his name. He called fellow Yale classmate Deborah Ramirez's and California professor Christine Blasey Ford's accusations part of a smear campaign, and the White House continues to back its man, the president, calling the allegations against Kavanaugh, quote, totally political. The battle lines have been drawn in the Senate. Democrats want an immediate postponement and FBI investigation, while GOP leaders say a vote's coming soon, one way or another.
Judge Kavanaugh will be voted on here on the Senate floor. Up or down, on the Senate floor, this fine nominee to the Supreme Court will receive a vote in this Senate in the near future.
There is simply no way in good conscience, no way, that the United States Senate can vote on this nomination of Brett Kavanaugh without a full, fair investigation and without an opportunity to be heard for these sexual assault survivors.
And now this headline from the political website The Hill. Republican Senator Susan Collins, considered to be a crucial vote in Kavanaugh's nomination, says committee investigators should reach out to Deborah Ramirez to question her under oath about what she is alleging happened. If Collins and another Republican, say Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, both vote no, assuming all Democrats vote the same way, Kavanaugh's nomination is dead. Collins says she still has not made up her mind. And this has clearly turned into a political firestorm of the first degree.
That's for sure. And we will witness political theater, so to speak, on Thursday.
We're already witnessing it
doing
now.
it right
More
now.
to come, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Dave.
We believe survivors. We believe survivors.
This group in Studio City joined protesters in Washington, D.C. and other cities to call on Judge Kavanaugh to withdraw his name from consideration. They answered Time's Up social media call to wear black and walk off the job at 10 a.m. Actress Frances Fisher was among those answering the call, saying the FBI should investigate the claims made against Kavanaugh.
This kind of action with the judiciary is appalling, to just not be believing survivors. Nobody puts themselves in this position unless they're telling the truth.
And over to Capitol Hill now. Dozens arrested after they marched outside the office of Maine Senator Susan Collins, who has said that she is undecided about Kavanaugh's nomination.
Well, the other big flashpoint, the fate of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Now, he went to the White House reportedly expecting to be fired over last week's New York Times story. This is Rosenstein walking out of the White House, still Deputy Attorney General.
That's right. CBS News reports that he talked with President Trump by phone about the article, which claims that Rosenstein suggested secretly recording the president and then invoking the 25th Amendment to oust the president. He has denied it because Mr. Trump is in New York. He and Rosenstein will have a face-to-face, we're told, on Thursday.
This looks to me like a slow-moving Saturday night massacre. It seems like the only question is whether these steps take place now or they take place after the midterms, when the president believes he'll pay less of a political price for it.
Well, the other big question, who will oversee the Mueller investigation if Rosenstein is gone? So ahead at 5:30, a solution to the why I didn't report dilemma. We will show you the app allowing sexual assault victims to keep records and decide how and when they want to report them.
Now, some breaking news. Santa Monica police have arrested a man for assault.
And they believe he's linked to a string of recent deadly attacks. CBS 2's Adriana Weingold is live in Santa Monica with the latest. Adriana.
Well, this is the fifth attack of its kind in recent weeks. It happened here on 7th Street. A man was hit over the head. The suspect arrested. Now, LAPD believes it's the same suspect, wanted for the murder of 2 men and attempted murder of a third in downtown L.A. A series of vicious attacks on homeless people have left communities from downtown to Santa Monica on edge. The most recent attack happened just this morning on 7th Street in Santa Monica. A man suffered blunt force trauma to the head. He was unconscious by the time authorities arrived. Investigators say they arrested his attacker a few blocks away on Broadway, and now the LAPD confirms there has been an arrest in connection with 3 other recent attacks. 3 homeless men were savagely beaten while they slept in downtown L.A. on September 16th. 2 of those men died. The other is still recovering in the hospital. Investigators say those attacks were carried out with a baseball bat. The other attack happened on Thursday. 39-year-old Steve Cruz was bludgeoned to death while he was sleeping under the Santa Monica Pier. His family says Cruz was not homeless, but sometimes slept there to be closer to work in Marina del Rey. After the attacks in downtown, police released this security video showing a possible suspect who they believed was also homeless. They say he walked with a distinct gait because of his bow legs. And again, a suspect has been arrested out here in Santa Monica, and now the LAPD saying they believe that suspect is also responsible for 3 other attacks in downtown L.A. The LAPD holding a news conference tomorrow at 3 p.m., and we will, of course, bring you the very latest. For now, we are live in Santa Monica. Adriana Weingold, back to you.
Well, now to more breaking news. A murder investigation in Anaheim after a teenager is gunned down. The deadly shooting happened near Cerritos Avenue and Garza Street. That's near an elementary school.
We're told the victim was riding a bicycle when he was shot around 1:30 this afternoon. He was pronounced dead at a hospital. He was 19. Orange County Sheriff's Department said it's looking for 3 people.
Just hours after Riverside police put out a picture of a suspect behind a knife attack in a Metrolink station, detectives say they caught him.
A 39-year-old Raymond Bonner facing attempted murder charges following yesterday's attack. They say he stabbed Albert Lee in the neck for no apparent reason.
Well, riders at the station near downtown Riverside were in shock.
You know, there's cameras everywhere, but you know, security's visible on this side, but not on the other side.
Do you feel vulnerable?
A little bit. A little bit, yeah.
We were told that Lee is in critical condition and unable to speak with detectives.
A deputy involved shooting in Compton injured a man this morning. One suspect is locked up. Another suspect was hurt and taken to the hospital. The shooting happened after deputies were called to investigate a robbery at a mini-mart near Rosecrans and Wilmington. Authorities first reported no deputies were hurt, but they now say one deputy has a minor injury not related to the shooting.
Well, the brush fire burning north of Castaic is about 30% contained as of this hour. It started Saturday afternoon and has burned almost 3,400 acres so far. No evacuation orders in effect. About 100 homes were threatened, but no structures have been damaged. Firefighters made a lot of progress overnight when temperatures dropped.
Bill Cosby is back in the courtroom. Prosecutors say no one is above the law, including the disgraced actor. Find out how many years Cosby could spend locked up in prison.
Plus, caught on camera, an officer's quick thinking saves his life and a woman's.
I'm a team-first guy. I love passing the ball, love sharing the ball.
And LeBron James, the center of attention at Lakers Media Day. His message for fans as he opens this new chapter with the purple and gold.
Hi, everybody. I'm Garth Kemp. Looks nice out by the beach. What a day today. Can we keep it going? Your forecast coming up.